Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan. This is my Apple Watch Series 3, and today is Friday, September 14th, which means there are a lot of people staying up late getting ready to do some pre-ordering of the brand new Apple Watch Series 4 or possibly the brand new iPhones. And so while I'm up late, I thought, why not address the question on my channel, is the Apple Watch Series 4 worth upgrading to? So before we get into that, I just want to address a few maybe negatives about the Apple Watch Series 3. And let me just say this, for me, it is definitely among my top 3 favorite smartwatches, which is to say I really like the Apple Watch Series 3 a ton. And obviously the Apple Watch Series 4 is an upgrade. Now the question is it worth an extra $100 over the Apple Watch Series 3? Because that's basically what Apple is asking for the Series 4, is an extra $100 on top of what they're charging for this watch. So this was $429 retail. If I wanted to upgrade to the Apple Watch Series 4, basically get the LTE version and the largest version, I'm going to be paying $529. So an extra $100 over the price of the version I have here. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the weaknesses first of this watch, and that number one being, and I think this is true of a lot of wearables, is the battery life. So you can see here, obviously I'm at 75%. That's pretty meaningless because I was actually just charging it. But in general, I'm getting about a day to 2 days of battery life. Without a doubt, every other day I'm having to charge this up. So I'm using GPS. I don't use the LTE a whole lot because it's usually connected up to my phone. But of course, I'm using my AirPods, listening to music while I'm running. And so I really like that. But I do have to charge it every other day as a result, sometimes every day depending on how far I run, because the GPS and the Bluetooth do definitely take up a lot of the battery here on the Apple Watch Series 3. So battery life, number one, being the biggest weakness. Number two is the heart rate monitoring, and I'm not saying that the heart rate monitor on here is bad, but it doesn't have 24-hour heart rate monitoring. So this is my Garmin Vivo Active 3 Music. This thing always is checking your heart rate, whereas with the Apple Watch Series 3 and with the Apple Watch Series 4, there is no constant heart rate monitoring. Now, you do get a heart rate check basically every 10 minutes, and while you're working out, it will constantly check your heart rate. But in general, all day, there is no heart rate monitoring. Just about every 10 minutes, they're checking in on you. So that is number two. Number three is, as a result of not having all-day heart rate monitoring, well, you can't really track sleep unless you're tracking the heart rate. So watches like, again, my Garmin, this is tracking your sleep because it has literally 24-hour heart rate monitoring. And so that is a feature that definitely the Apple Watch is missing, and that is also not present on the Apple Watch Series 4. And then another weakness of the Apple Watch Series 3, basically since the beginning of time when it came out, and even to this time I think it's improved a little bit, is the cell reception. So the LTE does work, obviously, it just doesn't work great. So right now I have it connected up to my iPhone, so you won't even see any cell reception, but in general the cell reception is definitely not nearly as good as what you would get on a phone. So that is something that they did actually upgrade with the Apple Watch Series 4. So that would be one reason if you are getting the LTE version of the Apple Watch Series 4. It has an upgraded LTE antenna, and if you're on T-Mobile, it does have the extra bands for the reception. So now let's talk about the actual improvements on the Apple Watch Series 4 to say, is it worth that extra $100? So number one is, of course, the larger screen. Is the larger screen necessary? I would say no. It's nice. It definitely is nice to have smaller bezels. It'll look a little bit better in my opinion. It'll be also nice to have those extra complications. So the larger screen is nice. Is it necessary? I would say probably no, but still a nice upgrade nonetheless. The second thing is a faster processor. So they claim a 2 times faster processor, and I will say if you're going from an older Apple Watch like a Series 1 or a Series 2, the Series 3 has a much faster processor. Going from app to app is significantly better on the Series 3, And if it's 2 times faster on the Series 4, well, then it's super fast, because this one is pretty darn good. About the only other watch that I think has a better processor would be the Samsung Galaxy Watch. So having a 2 times faster processor will be nice, not necessary again, but still a nice upgrade as well. Now, one of the big things that Apple addressed in the keynote address with the Series 4 is the fact that it has that new EKG sensor, ECG sensor, electrocardiogram, which means basically it's going to be checking your heart rate, and with that, it's checking it for a regular heart rate, and that is nice. Now, it's not a feature I will probably, hopefully, never need to use, but you never know when that feature will come in handy for somebody, and the Apple Watch has actually been known to save a few lives because of the heart rate monitoring. So that is something that is nice. It's an added feature, not one that I'll probably utilize much, but it's there. Another thing is they added in some new sensors in terms of like the gyroscope, so it'll actually be able to find out when if you've fallen or anything like that, and so that's kind of cool. So not, again, hopefully something I don't ever need to use, but if I need to use it, well, it's there. And then another upgrade is the louder speaker. So they say a 50% louder speaker. Again, an upgrade I don't really see as necessary. I've never really had any issues with phone calls on my Apple Watch Series 3. So it's nice to have a 50% louder speaker, but not really something I feel is necessary, because usually when I'm taking calls, I'm on my AirPods anyways if I'm connected up to my Apple Watch. So are the improvements worth it? Well, honestly, I would say for the average person, the Series 3 is probably going to be a more, I guess, reasonable purchase. For those of you that want the latest and greatest, obviously the Apple Watch Series 4 does have some nice improvements. Now, there are some software improvements as well. However, obviously, as we know with Apple, the Series 3 is going to get all of those software improvements. The only thing it's going to be missing in terms of hardware is that EKG sensor. All the software improvements will also be sent to the Apple Watch Series 3. So the added health monitoring and things like that. So they've talked about some of the added running, the podcast. All of those are going to be available on the Apple Watch Series 3, so that's not really an upgrade. So the software is all going to be here. The difference is in the hardware with the Series 4. So is it worth it? I would say probably not, unless you are somebody who just wants the latest and greatest. I personally will definitely be getting the Apple Watch Series 4 because I'm a reviewer and I want the latest and greatest when it comes to my Apple Watch. So I'm definitely going to be taking that upgrade. Unfortunately, I don't think that Apple improved on the areas that really needed the improvement, but the improvements are still nice, and I will definitely be making the upgrade. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'm sure you will anyways. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.